Well, the engine is now out, as you can see there. And there. Yeah, friend and I pulled the engine out today. Wasn't a bad job actually. I'm used to doing sort of smaller setups, like so those, and rear wheel drive things, like those. But yeah, pretty easy to do. We ended up just dropping the whole lot in, well, dropping it out as it went in, so on the subframe, suspension and everything just there. Unfortunately the engine is toast. It's completely sea solid due to the fact the guy who had it overheated it. The head gasket went and he didn't look out for the warning signs and just drove it until it seized. Taken the exhaust off, well, what was left of it, because it's pretty rotten, and it's completely full of water. In fact, you could possibly still see it underneath. Yeah, just all that came out the exhaust. Luckily the turbo is okay, and quite surprisingly it's free and it turns inside there. You stick your finger in, it is moving, so yeah. As you can see, if I do that, turns quite easily. You were probably seeing that from the angle then. But yeah, the engine's no good. What I really want though, as I say, is that the gearbox or transmission, depending where you are in the world. Although in the UK we call them a gearbox, but also a transmission. But yeah, that's going to come off and go onto my other engine, the one in my daily Volvo, which I still need to do a video on. It's sitting outside at the moment. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm happy how that came out. Still got the interior to do. Oh yeah, that door's, it's kind of like got reverse child lock, if that makes sense. It'll open from the inside, not the outside. There we go. Yeah, next job, all the interior to come out, doors, pretty much everything inside. I'm even taking the wiring loom. I'm taking everything out, so if I do decide in the future to turn my Volvo into a T5, I will have everything there. That's one of the reasons I pulled the engine, because I'm going to keep it with everything attached. I've got the roof rails to take off as well. Doors and everything, panels, just absolutely everything except the rear axle, because that's knackered. And so is the fuel tank and all that. But yeah, as you can see here, that's some of the bits off the engine and the engine bay. As I say, I've literally just pulled the engine out, everything else is still in. Quite surprised at how little wiring is actually in the engine bay, if that makes sense. I guess it's just your lights and everything. It's really nice and simple. Need to take the ABS pump off because my one's problematic in the Volvo. But yeah, apart from that, not a huge amount of stuff really. But yeah, as I say, the front suspension, everything's going to get chucked. It's all rotten. I'm just really going to be keeping the engine on the subframe. I'll keep the drive shafts as well because they seem to be okay. I'm not 100% sure whether they're the same as the automatic ones. I will find out. It'd be nice if they are, because it gives me spares. But yeah, got this up on the Volvo pages on Facebook as a breaker as well, because I won't be needing everything. So I say. But yeah, wings and all that will be coming off, panels, doors. It'll literally be a completely stripped shell. Messing my words up today. But yeah, there we go. So I'll just give people a look at that. Oh yeah, the rear axle, remember I mentioned it was pretty bad. Well, let's see if you can see this. The back spring has pinged out. I think I showed that in the other video actually. And yeah, it's just very rusty underneath and it's quite a bit of rot. A bit annoyed. I wanted to take the tow bar, but all the bolts are just rounding off on it, and it doesn't look the best anyway, so I think I'll probably just get a new one. I would rather spend £180 on a new tow bar than mess around trying to get that one off and find out it's equally as buggered. So yeah, otherwise it's all pretty good.